that have some implications for social learning. And this is actually the list of some of them, not all. It's a set of examples that fit into this slide, basically. And I underlined the constructivist theory because in the end, most of our research, not in the end, but as we've been going forward, our research is effectively focused on the educational setting and how to break the boundaries around the educational setting. And in education, the most important theory that would predict that you can do knowledge sharing and be effective is constructivist theory. So constructivist theory sort of says it is the theory that says that students will learn more by being active learners. So instead of being lectured at all the time, like I'm doing to you, you should, as students, you should be more involved in the learning process. It isn't what I tell you that you need to know as an instructor, but how I help you to find what you need to know and how I can give you feedback that you're moving in the right direction. So in the end, all of the kind of work that we've been doing depends on being able to specify that students should be active learners. So that's why I underlined that. Some of these other theories I'm going to talk about just before. They're not so important in the sense that I don't need to tell you about each one, but to say that we've used these theories in different ways in our research. So over the past 3 years, we've done a significant number of projects. Claremont Conversation Online has been the most significant of those. But we've created a number of design artifacts, or artifacts. We've designed a number of artifacts. And then we've been working on other projects that will lead to artifacts in the next short while. And so I'm going to talk about some of these projects and just give you brief overviews. The first one was done by a Thai student who's actually going to be taking up a faculty position at Thomas Sapp University. I don't know if you even know that. Yeah. His name's Peter Rackham. And what Peter did was develop something called SysApp Space. So this little set of 7 things just kind of gives you a quick overview of the research. This is a dissertation study, and Peter graduated last year. SysApp Space was the artifact that Peter developed, and he built it around something called WordPress MU multi-user. Has anybody heard of WordPress here? Any of you use it? But besides SAP, it's a blogging system. So, and I'll show you. All right, here's a screenshot. Not easy to see, but essentially, this part of the interface or the system is a set of entries that anybody could make that related to our School of Information Systems and Technology. So you can see this is a broadcast of a talk like this one. This is an announcement from our student council. There were other announcements all the time, probably on almost a daily or every second day, about things going on in our school. And they included interviews with students, faculty, alumni, guests. They included all kinds of different things, social activities. They did things like Student Appreciation Week, and had different activities that went along with that. So this is a blog, but it's at a community level. And then on this side of SysApp Space was a set of blogs about, and that's why it's called a multi-user system, a set of blog entries by all of the members of our school. So whether you're a student, faculty member, staff member, I know here faculty or staff, but in the US we call staff people who aren't on the academic faculty, alumni, anybody could create their own blog and post entries onto the success-based system. So that was the system. It was quite simple, but what Peter was trying to accomplish was to understand whether putting a system like this in place and how, depending on how it was customized, could it affect something called psychological sense of community. So the kernel theory that he was using to understand whether he got an effect of putting up the system was to measure whether people thought that they were feeling that they were more, or perceived more community, a more larger sense of community over time by using the system. Okay, and essentially, in measuring this outcome, there was some positive sense that the community was being developed in a better way, but it was up and down. So, you know, over time, the community became more, as a general community, there was more sense of community, then it would wane or lag a bit, and then increase again. So, so Peter is going to try and apply this in a larger context, beyond just one school, to see whether it might have a stronger effect. Second dissertation was something called it's MMPS, that's the artifact, Multimedia Management and Planning System. Student's name, now he's Dr. Matti Settiner, and he developed a player, a multimedia player, which does an interesting thing. So think about, I don't know how much engineers do this, but students who have to write essays or papers, you probably do some of this. When you do the research for a paper, you're going to quote or cite different sources when you do the research, right? You'll take a piece of text and you'll put it into your document as you're writing the paper. Well, what Mette said was, why can't we do that with video and audio? Why can't I create a paper or a document that's just based on video and audio clips instead of text? So his system essentially allows students to take clips of internet videos and audio documents and put them in any order, at any length, and any order they want, organize them as needed to tell a story about a problem. So the idea is to create an essay or a paper in a multimedia environment, and it can be done by one person or many people. And it allows you to create discussions around segments, the various segments that you put into the document. It allows you to tie it to an agenda, a little bit like using a Blackboard sense of having a syllabus that can be tied to various multimedia. So, and the way Mette tested this out was he built the system, he tried it with a couple of different classes, and just asked people whether they thought that would help their learning. So he didn't really measure whether they were learning more effectively, but whether they thought it was useful, just what we call a proof of concept. The third dissertation I want to talk about is done by Sonia Chang, and she graduated a couple of years ago. She built something called Keep SLS. So Keep is an e-portfolio system. Do you use e-portfolio systems here? I mentioned it. Yeah. So essentially an e-portfolio system allows a student to take all of their work over their academic career and keep it in one location. So instead of worrying about, okay, I did a course and now I have to try and save every